Hello, this is Chris Wenker. I'm a GIS epidemiologist at the New Mexico Department of Health. This is a training video for the IBIS Community of Practice. I will demonstrate how to use ArcMap to modify the attribute table of a shapefile as part of the process of creating a GeoJSON map layer. Virtually any shapefile that comes from a national or regional clearinghouse will be delivered with a lot of extra data fields that we don't need for IBIS. These prepackaged shapefiles are also missing the specific fields that we will need to link to IBIS-hosted datasets. So we need to make some edits before it can be used in IBIS. For this demonstration, we'll assume that our workflow will only use ArcMap to modify the shapefile and create the GeoJSON. That means in this workflow, we'll need to do all the preparation work up front because ArcMap doesn't have any tools to modify the GeoJSON after it's exported. As a side note, in a different video, we do see there is actually a way to edit a GeoJSON using QGIS software, but in this video, we'll just stick with an ArcMap workflow. Let's use an example where we want to make a GeoJSON that will be used specifically as a choropleth map layer. As we saw in a previous video, choropleth layers only require two fields, GeoID and title, and that's what we want to export in the GeoJSON. So here's our raw census download. To start working on the file in ArcMap, we want to have the shapefile attribute table open, and we want to make sure that we are not in edit mode. Because if we're in edit mode, that prevents us from working on the field structure. So in the table, go to Add Field, and we'll enter the new field parameters for GeoID. The name is case sensitive. It can be either a string or an integer. We'll leave it as an integer. And let's add the new title field as well, which is text. And the field length may vary according to the particular shapefile that you're working with. Now to populate these fields, we do want to switch over to be in edit mode. We'll populate our new fields out of the contents of the other fields. We have to do it this way because, unfortunately, it's not easy to just directly rename a field name in a shapefile using ArcMap. So for GeoID, we'll use this county FP field, which contains a national FIPS code that's unique for each county in our state. FIPS codes are standard and they're commonly used in other datasets as well. It's also important to point out that whatever values are used in the GeoID field must match exactly the values in the IBIS query dimensions, and vice versa. So in ArcMap, in edit mode, we'll use the field calculator to populate the GeoID with the values from county FP field. And then similarly, we'll use the field calculator to pull over the values in the name field into the title field. Once that's done, we could export this as a GeoJSON and use it as a choropleth layer, and would work perfectly well in Leaflet. But with all these extra original census fields, the GeoJSON would be unnecessarily large, and that would slow down its web performance. We're going to delete all of these unnecessary fields. So you have to be out of edit mode for this, and it's a simple process of right-click and delete. And eventually, you arrive at a shapefile with just the two essential GeoID and title fields. These two leftmost fields are part of the shapefile's format, and they can't be deleted. They won't affect the GeoJSON export. Now this shapefile is ready to export out of ArcMap into a GeoJSON, but that's a process that we've demonstrated in other instruction videos that you can consult. Now for other types of layers, such as display layers and label layers, we can use these same techniques to edit the attribute table and add or delete the fields that we want to have available in the final GeoJSON export. just be sure to have the final attribute table in exactly the format that you want to see in the GeoJSON, because after it's exported, ArcMap doesn't have any tools to edit the GeoJSON itself. Now that the attribute tables are properly structured, upcoming videos will demonstrate the other ways to reduce GeoJSON file sizes and improve web performance. We hope this introductory video about IBIS mapping has been instructive. Please check out the other videos on the IBIS Community of Practice YouTube channel.